Good morning, everyone. My name is Chanelle Carlin, and I want to welcome you to episode 2 of Okanogan Prospers, our monthly video series with the Okanogan Chamber of Commerce, talking with local Okanogan businesses and finding out what it is that they love about Okanogan and what it is that they have going on. Today, we are going to be meeting with Lonnie Goodmark Studios, and finding out what he has happening here. So I think he's getting ready to join us right now. Okay, so we're back and we are here with Lonnie Good from Goodmark Studios. And for those of you who don't know Lonnie, he has all kinds of incredible talents. A musician, songwriter, they host, I don't know if they still are, probably not right at the moment, hosted live events on their property and concerts in the fall. Where we used to live, we could hear the concerts from our front yard. But I'm going to let Lonnie tell you a bit more about himself and what he has going on right at the moment. So, Lonnie, thank you very much for joining us. And I'd love to hear what you've got going on and tell us a little about yourself, please.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're doing this. Wow, we've got quite a history. My bride, Teresa, has been here forever, born and raised, and so everybody knows her. I'm a newbie. I've only been here for, 15 years or so. When we bought this little piece of property down here next to the river, one of the things that I did is I built a stage. A bunch of repurposed lumber from the old dilapidated barns, because I always had a vision of having an outdoor venue. Mm-hmm. We did what we called Goodstock, which was a play on my last name. And then, of course, referring back to Woodstock, only we kept all of our clothes on. So we did Goodstock for, 5 or 6 years. We haven't done that for a couple of years. We've done other events here as well. We've had weddings. And one of the other things that I've done is created this little studio space here. And so I do writing and recording, and I help people produce their albums and singles. And sometimes it's just a family thing. Somebody has some songs that their children, their grandchildren want to save. And so I have them come in and record it for that reason. I got a couple sitting right here. I remember this one. This is called Circles by Larry Darley. He was a local guy. He was a vet. And he was 70 years old when he finally, his wife was pushing him to record all these songs that she'd heard for so many decades. And I'm so glad that we captured that. Larry passed away about a year ago, but his album now speaks for him.
On for him.
Another friend of mine, Terry Pelton, up out of Tonasket, did an album. And what we do here, I think the best thing that I can do for people is to help them record like the guitar vocals. And then I work very closely with a very good friend of mine in Nashville named Evan Sealing. He's an incredible producer. And he has been working with me and giving us in Okanogan a deal of a lifetime. People don't realize what he's given to us. Usually, like, he will take one song and produce that song, radio ready, good to go, and with all of the instrumentation on it and a absolutely phenomenal production. And he's been charging us $500.
Wow.
But back home, when he does the same thing, it's $2,000. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, and he likes working with us. I think probably because there's no pressure, I just send him the guitars, the vocals, the tracks that I have created, and I let him do his magic.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One thing, you called it Goodmark Studios, which now it is, as working in conjunction with another local guy, and we're kind of trying to market a little bit, but originally it's called Good Studios. Mm-hmm. Goodmark is, I think, my brand. There's a long story behind.
Oops, did I lose you? I think I lost you. Hang on. Are you still there? Can you hear me? That would be one of these things, wouldn't it? Hang on. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Let me just turn up my volume here. Thanks for being willing to do this again.
Oh, you're welcome. Not a problem. Couldn't think of anything better to do.
I'm sure. That's very good of you. So what I thought we would do is, I thought I would keep what we started with last time.
Okay.
And kind of start where we left off, if that's all right. And then we can compile them.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good at making things look good and look like they belong together.
Yeah, well, that's a producer's job. You must be a producer.
He is an all-around talented person that I am very grateful for.
Do you remind me where we left off?
So we left off you talking about Goodmark Studios and your friend in Nashville who is sharing his production skills for wonderful price, the gift that he's giving us. And then my thought from there was going to be to ask you my next questions. But that's where we left off when we got so rudely cut off by Zoom or by the internet. So
yeah. So so I'll just be keyed from your next question.
Okay. So for those who don't know, Lonnie, because we talked a little bit before about how you felt like maybe you're still a little bit of an unknown quantity in our community, let alone in other communities. But we started talking the other day about Goodmark Studios and your friend in Nashville who's been helping to produce some of the work that you folks do here at your studio. So I just wanted to see if you could share a little bit more about that.
Evan Sealing. He is a producer, owns his own studio. I feel like he's just a gift because he's not just a producer, he's a personal friend. I actually flew him out here a couple years ago just because I wanted to spend time with him and I wanted to give him a break from his studio. And so I took him up into the Cascades. We hiked up into Rainy Lake and knocked around in the mountains for a half a day or so. But he spent some time with us. He played some music with us. And then we did spend a little bit of time out here in the studio, which I learned more from him in a couple hours than I have in the last 10 years. The guy is a genius when it comes to producing music. And he's a great guy. And he loves what he does, and he loves what he does for us here. And so everybody that I've worked with, that I've done this, record demos here or guitar vocals, piano vocals, and then sent to Evan, it's just they are off the charts happy with the end result because it really is mind-boggling. And there's stuff out there bouncing around right now. Like, you remember the Paradise Fires?
I do.
In California? Well, during that time, we loaded up and took some goods down there. And I wrote a song because I'm a writer. And so whatever's going on in my life, that's where it's going to come out. And I wrote a song called Christmas in Paradise. And it's out there on iTunes. There's a bunch of stuff out there. But that one, I'm reminded of it recently because I just got a note from DistroKid that said that they uploaded the lyrics to iTunes. And so he produced that.
Okay.
And I brought my daughter into the studio and her husband and had them do the main vocals. And then I sent those back to Evan along with the guitar track, and he produced it. Insane song, beautiful country thing, and it was totally relevant to what was going on at the time.
Well, and you have another project that you're working on right at the moment too, Okanogan Strong. Do you want to talk about that?
Okanogan Strong. Well, yeah, that was you inspired me with your Okanogan Prospers, and
I thought that was a joke.
Not a joke at all. You inspired me, and when I was sharing it with my bride, she said, "Well, she's been here all of her life," and she said, the chant of the town has always been Okanogan Strong. And I'm like, Okanogan Strong, huh? So I sat down and I wrote that out. And one thing led to another. Now I've got several of the downtown merchants. I've got their pictures, and I'm developing a little video strategy. Today at 12 o'clock, I'm going over to the IGA, and all of the employees are lining up in front of the IGA for me.
Awesome.
And going to plug them into this little song called Okanogan Strong. And so I find that I'm able to take what I'm able to do here and create here in the studio and apply it and bring other people into it, or give it as a gift, if you will, to the community, to your family, to your friends. You know, it's too easy to get myopic in your vision and go chasing the golden rainbow or the hanger. You know, I'm going to go write a hit song. I'm like over that. I've got a dozen hit songs. There's no doubt in my mind. But I'm not in Nashville. I'm not in New York. I'm not pursuing that. But I continue to perfect my craft and find ways to do what I do, find that contentment and that joy in what I do, and by giving it to others.
That's lovely. That actually is something that reminds me about when I talk about Okanogan, and what's so great about it is that we have an incredible community of people like you, Lonnie, who share of their talents and share of their gifts, and who are really, really generous with the gifts that they've been given. And that actually leads me to my next question is, what is the favorite thing that you love most about Okanogan and living here, having a business here, multiple businesses here? What is it that you love most about this community?
Wow. I'm a transplant, so I spent half my life on the wet side.
Me too.
And I remember back in '96, we had 90 days straight of rain, 90 days. And it was that year that there was a seed planted. I was thinking, you know, Washington is my home. This is my state, and I love it. And I thought, I love Eastern Washington. There's sunshine over there. One thing led to another, and I ended up coming over here, and I can't believe how well I transplanted. So one of the biggest changes for me is actually I found out that there actually are 4 seasons. Because in Western Washington, there's 2. There's gray and dark gray.
Now, that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
A little bit. My opinion, and somebody told me I'm good at my opinion. But there are 4 seasons over here. I like rural life. I like that I don't live in the I-5 corridor. I like small town. I like that everybody knows everybody, and that's good, and it can be bad too, but I'm good with it. And so I think that was the biggest thing, the freedom that I have to do what we want to do. You know, we've had concerts out here in our pasture, and there wasn't a problem doing those. And then whatever we put our hands to, it just seems to be effortless, and not a lot of bureaucracy to deal with. And it's a friendly community. And like you said, there are so many talented people here. I've had a lot of them here in the studio, and that's been wonderful. And I've found some of my favorite artists here in the Okanogan. The Okanogan, there is a plethora of artists, of guitar players and songwriters, and they kind of have that easygoing mentality. It's been a lot of fun getting to know them.
It fosters them. Well, what do you think it is that makes Okanogan prosper? What is that? What is that?
I think that there's some deep roots in Okanogan. There are people, there are generations that have been here. And so there's a strength there from those deep roots. You know, my vision for Okanogan town, there are still too many empty buildings uptown. I think that Okanogan, the town, one of the things about Okanogan Strong is I want the town to be able to use that to generate interest and to help to continue to create an atmosphere of what's possible here. It's a beautiful little town. It's a beautiful little town. I know it's a lot of history. I'm glad that we've got the courthouse here, and we've kind of got that hub. But downtown, we still need to bring some people in and revitalize, if you will.
I think there are lots of factors involved there, but I completely agree with you. I think most people would agree with you. So that is, and I think the deep roots piece really speaks to this community. It is a 120-year-old town,
Yeah.
if you were, and it has an incredible history of openness and inclusiveness. I think that that's not necessarily something that people think about when they come to a small town. That's one of the things I think I like most about it myself, is the inclusiveness and the openness that you can find here.
Yeah.
So, thank you. It's just in the interest of time in our interview, because I do like to keep these, brief, and I know you have a lot of things going on today. What is it that I haven't asked you about that you would like to share and let folks know about, either you, your business, or your thoughts in general? I'd love to hear. I don't always know all the questions to ask, but we usually have something you want to share.
When it comes to my business, to the studio, there's a lot that I can help people with. We live in the day and age of this. Interaction on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, and creating content is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And we've been able to create some really high-end content here, and I would like to do that more. The possibilities are endless. And so I think in helping our downtown people and helping artists in that realm, I have right here something that is very affordable, and you end up with a big time result with a very little expenditure. Mm-hmm. And just like everybody else, I'm really open and have given a lot. My wife says, you can't keep giving it away.
But we do.
We do. That's just what makes us tick. But jingles, videos, those things can help businesses thrive. Mm-hmm. And can bring awareness. So what I have to offer here is a big deal. And so I'd like to see more people take advantage of it.
I agree. I totally agree. It's a big deal, and I'd like to see more people take advantage of it too. So fingers crossed, we'll get this out there and people will start to know about you more.
There you go.
All right. Well, I really, really, really appreciate your time, Lonnie. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Pleasure.
What you're doing is a good thing. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you. We have next month coming up too. I'm looking forward to that as well. All right. Well, I will look forward to seeing you more and more in town. Do you guys have any more shows that you're planning to do this summer? Well, obviously.
Yeah, we don't have anything in the works.
Loosening up as they will eventually. You don't have anything planned at the moment.
Right. We don't have anything on the agenda right now.
Okay.
We're kind of busy. We're helping our little church. They're going to do their first drive-in service this Sunday.
Awesome.
So I'm going to pack up all of our gear and take it on over to Twist and see how that goes.
Great. Oh, that's going to be awesome. Well, we'll look forward to seeing how that goes.
All right.
Thank you, Lonnie, very much.
Thank you.
All right.